market and then earn it a different way. Something that hasn't been done until then. It was totally new. So that was the first example. Second example, we'll go to 1997. And I'll introduce you to two guys who you probably know. Okay? What did they invent or popularize? The first modern day search engine. Now, did they have the same problem? A product that was too expensive? Contrary. Their product was not too expensive, it was free. How do you earn money from free? How do you earn money from free? Well, they did. Today, basically, based on a free product, free search that you and I do, they're earning from contextualized advertising, selling off the search terms to advertising. They earn $30 billion US. Most of it's still coming from search. And because, not just because they found this advertising revenue stream, but they found a particular pricing mechanism where they auction off the search terms. So if you want to have the search term Nike in Helsinki, you're going to compete against others who are going to bid on that term. And only the highest bidder gets his or her advertising to appear. That became basically a machine to print money, right? So, two examples. What do they have in common? What do both examples have in common? If you compare them, similarities. I know Finns, most of you are Finns, are not very outgoing, some are smiling, but I'm going to get you to work, so this is a chance to warm up already.
The models didn't exist.
The models didn't exist before. They had to invent them, correct? What else? Yep.
They had the best technology.
They had the best technology, so there was clearly technology innovation. Was that the only type of innovation?
Pricing innovation.
Pricing innovation, revenue innovation, right? Business model innovation. I'll give you 3 points, and those 3 points are important for the rest of what I'm talking about, and it'll give us the structure for the hour we're going to be together. The first one is that, yes, there was technology and product innovation. Fine, and it was important, but it was not sufficient. That alone was not enough. So in both cases, they figured out a business model to enable or empower the product. And we'll see this more and more. These are two extreme cases. But it's the business model in these two cases that enables the product. Okay? That's the first point, first big idea. Second big idea here is that they didn't copy. Now, how many of us, the first thing we do is we look out there, we look at our competition. Who's guilty of that? Looks at competition pretty frequently, right? Who cares about competition? What you really want to do is invent a business model that solves a particular job for a customer. That's the ultimate goal. Of course, you're going to compete not in a vacuum, but in a competitive space. But ultimately, you want to invent business models that solve jobs for customers. Not just products, but business models. Okay? It's the second big idea. The third big idea, this is going to be the last part of the talk, is, well, could they prove up front that the business models would succeed? No chance. Right? You cannot prove that the business model is going to work. We're finding ways now to understand if they could work. You cannot prove up front. So, in big companies, what's the first thing, the first question you get when you present a new business model idea? Prove that it works, right?
Exactly. Show me someone who's done it before.
Yeah, right. It's the worst thing you can do. If somebody's done it, why do you want to do it again? Right? So, we need to get back to a culture of experimentation. Experimentation, not just of products, but experimentation of business models, because it's by experimenting and failing that we learn and that will build powerful business models. Follow me on this? Third point. So this is going to be our structure. First part, how do you go beyond product innovation? So we're going to look at what's a business model, what's that construct? Second point, so this is business models as a language. Second point, well, if we don't copy, what do? Hey, we create stuff. So we're going to look into the design world design thinking attitude. Design is a profession that creates stuff every day. That's how you go beyond copying. And the third part, I'll be very brief on this. You're going to have Steve to talk, Steve Blank. How do you go beyond this asking for proof? How can you try to sense if a business model is going to work or not without actually having the data? So this is where we go towards testing business models before we build them. So in the old world, here I'm a bit black and white, in the old world we make a business plan, we try to show what's going to be the case, get funding, we fail, the VC is angry, and we start the next company. In the new world, you're going to have to iterate your business model and prove to your investors that you're learning from every failure and that you can still change your business model because you didn't spend all the money. And once you've figured it out, that's when you build it. Okay? Searching before building. Good. 3 points. Now, I'm going to get you to work. It's a very simple thing. You're going to look at business models. Hey, what is a business model? Who of you has never ever used the term business model? Hands up. Okay, my boy in the back again. So, want you to work on this topic of business model. Since you've all used the word, you know what a business model is. So we're going to take a case. Simple case, coffee, commodities business. And frankly, after a week in Finland, you need a little bit of innovation when it comes to coffee. Okay? So let's look at this commodities business where some coffee growers like Vietnam didn't exist 10 years ago. Now they're among the biggest coffee growers, so there's quite a bit of supply now, okay? Now, let's start with this question. And just ask ourselves, this is for many markets, I just have some data points on the Swiss market. How much less or more do Swiss households pay for coffee consumption if we look at, compared to the 5 years ago? Do we pay 20% less per gram of coffee or do we pay 20% more? What would your guesses be? What would you guess be? What do you think?
Much less.
Much less, okay? Commodities business. How much would you guess? How much would you guess? How much less?
25%?
85%?
No, 25.
25%, okay?
40% more.
40% more, okay. Other direction, yeah? You said more in the front?
300.
300% more. Wow. Commodities business, 300% more?
About the same.
Okay? It's 600 to 800% more that we pay for coffee. And the Swiss do not throw money out of the window. So why the heck are we paying 6 to 8 times more per gram of coffee? It's not George Clooney, right? It's espresso. Okay? So, Nespresso, which is part of Nestlé, one of the biggest the biggest food company in the world, came up with a business model for espresso. And they basically changed the business model for selling espresso. Okay? At least parts of it. Now, at the heart of Nespresso, the company Nespresso, is a machine, coffee machine, Nespresso. And to make a good espresso, now let me explain to you, Finns, what a good espresso is. It's when you have a black mass, but you can't see that black mass because there's a beautiful crema on top of the coffee that stays there for more than 10 seconds and that gives you this special taste. So they made a machine, they were the first to invent this type of machine where you take an aluminium pod with coffee inside, you put it into the machine, you press a button and out comes a great espresso, like as if you were in a coffee bar in Milano, okay? That's the product. What I want you to work on for, let's say, 3 minutes in groups of 2 with your seat neighbor is, well, that's the product, but what's the business model that got them to these results that we're going to see? First aspect, hey, they sell so many pods that every Swiss village has a garbage collection site just for Nespresso pods. Okay? The only company with their own container. It's still one of the fastest growing businesses within Nestlé, has a growth rate of about 30% per annum for the last 11 years. Hey, that's substantial for most companies. I presented this at Google and they looked at me, 30%, that's it? But hey, Nestle is a big company with much lower growth rates, right? And even for most startups, after a while, that's still pretty good. And it represents about 3 billion Swiss francs annual revenues with one product line. It's a bit more now, okay? One product line, coffee machines and the pods, some other stuff, but that's the main product line. So I want you to figure out, with your seat neighbor, what are the core elements that allow Nespresso to be so successful? So what's the business model about? 3 minutes with your seat neighbor, let's go. What's Nespresso's business model? Okay? Okay, fine. Let's do this together. So, just a couple of pointers. What do you think made Nespresso so successful when it comes to their business model? What would your guess be?
They sell this lifestyle product that you get this great coffee fast without realizing if the customer gets totally off.
Okay, so you had lifestyle experience. Okay, and you said lock-in. What do you mean exactly with a lock-in?
Well, because I got fooled by this thing, so I can't buy any other things than Nescafe capsules anymore. And the idea basically was that they offer 3 packets of capsules for free if you buy from the internet.
Okay.
And they had posting costs of mailing costs of 11 euros. But if you bought with over 80 euros, you could skip the mailing cost. So I had to buy half a year's coffee.
Okay, and once you have the machine, there's not many other pods that you can use, right? Okay, what else? Yeah, in the back?
I think they changed the comparable product. They're selling cheap coffee house experience rather than expensive homemade coffee.
Okay, so a focus on the experience again, that you could actually have the home barista experience, yeah?
Exactly, and focus on the cost of, essentially the cost comparable is the cost of espresso, which is modest, and